Hey guys, Fernando, your GBF Realtor of Austin, Texas, and I'm here in Buda, Texas at a new build home with an inspector from Doyan Inspections. Doyan Inspections is a woman-owned inspection company here in Austin, Texas. They do phenomenal work. They're very thorough, which is why I wanted to come along and see what exactly they look for when they're going through a new build inspection. For those of you looking for a new build home, you do still need to get an inspection. Those are really important, and we're right about to see why, so come along. Okay, so this is Lori. Lori works with Doyan Inspections, and when she gets in, she automatically goes straight to the kitchen. Lori, what do you look for in the kitchen? What are you doing? These are brand new appliances. Why do they have to be inspected?
Even if they're brand new appliances, you never know how long they've been sitting in a warehouse. But we also test out the oven lights, burners. We also check to make sure that all ovens and ranges have an anti-tip device for safety to make sure that a range doesn't fall back on a small child or a dog.
So you're checking the appliances. You're also checking the workmanship of whoever it was that was involved in installing them.
Correct.
And then you're also running the dishwasher too.
Correct. We run the dishwasher, we make sure it is installed correctly, we run it for a full cycle, and then check the plumbing underneath. We also check the inside of the dishwasher, same thing, to make sure all the parts are there that should be there.
So it's important that if it comes with the home, then that's what you inspect.
Pretty much.
Okay, so we got the kitchen down.
Yep.
Moving on to the
Primary bathroom.
primary bathroom.
When we're in a bathroom, we want to test all the fixtures, make sure that everything's installed properly, make sure that nothing is loose or wiggly or anything like that. Usually what I do is I'll turn the faucets on just to make sure they're hooked up the way it should be, hot on hot, cold on cold. I'm also checking underneath to make sure that all the drain pipes are hooked up correctly. Sometimes we have a leak with a brand new house. We're also looking at your supply lines and everything as well.
And the same thing with the shower?
Correct, yes. We run the shower. Usually I try and spray kind of around the shower doors and the shower walls to make sure those are sealed up properly. Things can look really good, look finished and things like that, and sometimes they're not. They're not quite sealed up. Most builders, though, are really proactive about getting things done right. Homeowners can be extremely proactive in keeping up with their homes. We have busy lives. We understand that it's kind of hard to do that, but it's really important to just kind of make sure things are running like they should. The baseboards behind the toilet just aren't sealed. Make sure that the toilet is secure, it's not wiggling. This looks pretty good.
So checking to make sure they're all fitted right, they all lock right.
Yeah, make sure they have screens, make sure they're fit and sealed, make sure they can raise and lower. But yeah, really important for windows to be able to open and close easily just for an emergency to where people need to get in and out quickly.
So you check every outlet in the house?
Every outlet is accessible, yeah. Just to make sure that they're wired correctly. Also, if they're GFCI protected, if there's a problem with the wiring, things like that, that it automatically trip in case of moisture or ground fault.
Now that we've looked at the bedroom, looked at the outlets, looked at the windows, looked at the plumbing, now we're moving on to the attic. You're so inspector chic right now with that headlamp. Okay, so what are we looking for up in the attic?
This attic has your furnace. Take a look at the inside components, make sure everything is wired up correctly. Check for dirty filters, any kind of moisture or water in the drain pans or anything like that. Just basically to get general pictures so that the homeowner can know what their furnace looks like, where it is, and what they need to do to maintain it.
Also, it's really nice and clean up here. I wish my attic looked like this.
I know, right? Well, this one's different. I wasn't expecting it. So it has spray foam insulation on
that's why.
That's why,
Okay,
yeah.
It's got the spray foam.
So with the spray foam, you don't have to have fluff insulation or batt insulation.
That's what was different. I was like, this looks so nice.
And it looks very, very neat.
Spray foam, yay or nay?
It depends. My take on it is I'm kind of so-so on it because if you would ever have damage to your roof and it would leak, it would take a longer amount of time for you to discover the leak because of the spray foam. It's a great choice. So is regular old insulation.
And these are all going to go in the inspection report?
Yes. So right now I'm looking at just basically the attic structure and making sure everything is joined up as it is. This is a truss system, so it's actually pre-made and then put together here in the field. So we're just making sure that everything's put together correctly. Also looking at the spray foam insulation, the ductwork for the HVAC, looking at other ducts that come from the bathrooms and from the kitchen. So there's a lot of things to look at up here. We take a ton of pictures compared to other inspector firms. We like to document how everything is the day of the inspection. If there's something that a client would find several weeks or a couple of months down the road, they can refer back to their inspection report and see, was it like that the day we inspected it, or if it's been like that all along.
You said you have several hundred photos per inspection, and they all go into the report digitally?
Correct. So our reports come in two parts. We have what is required by the state of Texas, entailing the entire inspection, including limitations, any findings, a lot of legalese, which makes the report kind of long. But for us, we use a software called Spectora, which also takes the things that we found that were not quite right, needed to be fixed, needed to be maintained, and it makes it into its own little separate summary.
That takes care of the bulk of things inside. Now we're going to move to the outside. We're going to move to the garage where the electrical panel is.
So we note the location and take pictures of the box with the cover on, the cover off. So this panel box is really good because it's labeled. So here we're just kind of looking to make sure that, there are no breakers that are loose or anything like that. We kind of touch them like this to make sure they're not overheating. We're trying to know what wires go where and how they're supposed to be hooked up.
So the inside panel in the garage is taken care of, and now we're going to go to the electrical panel that's outside around the house. So they have 2 electrical panels.
Correct. So this is the main panel. So this is basically where the electricity comes from underground into the house. We have less switches here, but these switches are very important to the house running. So we're also looking at, what size breakers we have for your air conditioner and your furnace, just to make sure that those are the proper ones for the equipment that the homeowner has.
Okay, we've seen the electrical panel. Now we're going to move on to the hot water heater. A lot of them are tankless now, which are a little bit more expensive, but take up a lot less room.
Just kind of getting general pictures of the unit itself, and making sure it's hooked up correctly. There's a pressure relief valve here. Gas line is hooked up properly with a proper sediment trap, drip pan in case it would ever leak. We'll even take pictures of the serial number for the homeowner just in case they would need anything like that.
Are you seeing that more new builds have tankless?
Yeah, I think people like the idea of it. I think they're both good. The on-demand hot water is a good selling point.
And now a really crucial part of every home inspection, the foundation.
For our general inspection, we look at the exterior of the foundation for any kind of cracks or any kind of evidence of leaking, issues with construction deterioration or things like that. For a newer construction home, we're going to be looking for general builder errors or things like that. Sometimes you'll see some houses that have been sitting for a little while that may already have issues with settling and things like that. We do have a lot of issues with hairline cracks in foundations, and mostly on the outside covering, which is called the parging layer. It's our job basically to point these things out and alert our clients whether or not things need to be investigated further. Something that you want to have someone that's a little bit more well-versed in foundation to be able to come out and see. Not only do we look at the outside foundation, we also go in the inside of the house and look for things that would kind of indicate that maybe we are having some issues with foundation. A sticking door that doesn't latch, windows that don't open and close very easily.
Or doors that close on their own.
Correct. That may be something as simple as a door being out of plumb. But if we have other corroborating things like cracks in the foundation or exterior wall cracking and things like that, that's another, maybe a pink flag to kind of look for.
The canaries in the coal mine.
Yeah, exactly.
So the foundation looks good.
Yeah, foundation looks good. No issues as far as any kind of cracks or anything like that. Just built recently, so we're not looking for anything too much.
And of course, an inspection in 2025 would not be complete without a drone shot. So here she's taking pictures of the roof, making sure that there are no bald patches or potential areas where they might have installed it incorrectly or used bad material. And we just finished our inspection of a new build home in Buda, Texas. This by no means was the entire inspection. This is just bits and pieces done by Lori, who works for Doyen Inspection. I mean, tell them briefly, why do they want to use you with so many inspection companies that are out there?
With Doyen Inspections, we are female owned and operated. We definitely take pride in being a very small number of female inspectors in the state of Texas and in the nation. And we are very thorough, maybe even a little picky, but we definitely want the best for our clients. And we definitely want them to feel comfortable with their homes and the places they live. And we want them to be able to understand how their home works and how it can work better for them and how they can fix things or find someone to fix them if need be. So we just definitely want to give people the peace of mind that they deserve going into, the biggest purchase of their lives.
Yeah, a lot of care and consideration in this company, hands down. Just by them being willing to let me come along and show you all their process, it says a lot about how they like to do business and how transparent they are in all of their practices. If they want to book an inspection with you, do they go online? Do they call you? Do they email you? How do they do that?
All right. The easiest way is to go to our website, doyeninspections.com. There you can basically pick your time frame. You can even pick your inspector if you have a preference. We have inspectors all the way from Salado all the way to South Austin. Our coverage to inspect in Central Texas goes from basically Waco and Temple all the way down to San Antonio.
It's a huge area.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
which is great. It's luckily we have a team that we are pretty spread out, and we have enough people to where we have some flexibility, so that sometimes you can try and schedule online and possibly get an inspection within 24 to 48 hours.
Which is great if you have a very small option period.
Correct.
If you're able to get your inspections done, not even just a general home inspection, but if you want to get a specific electrical, foundation, roofer's inspection, plumbing, I mean, all these are highly, highly, highly specialized inspections that need to be put in a very short amount of time.
Absolutely.
But you cannot forego the general inspection. I cannot stress that enough. So you have a wonderful company right here that you can choose from. And hopefully anybody moving to Austin or moving within Austin, they can join in inspections. So until next time, bye. Thank you all for watching. Again, my name is Fernando Rivera. I'm your GBF Realtor of Austin, Texas. You've just seen a home inspection by Doyan Inspections for a new build home in Buda, Texas. I know for a lot of first-time homeowners, your best chance to enter the housing market is to get into a new build. And a lot of you can be potentially scared about the kind of quality of work that you can get from a new build home. Hopefully this inspection will help ease a lot of your concerns, knowing that if you get a good inspector, you're less likely to get into a home that's going to give you a lot of problems in the future. And stay tuned for more videos like this.